Hello, everyone. My name is Jordana Thompson, and I'm the Program Coordinator for Junior Achievement of New Mexico. Thank you for attending our virtual Career Speaker Series event. This program is open to JA students across New Mexico and highlights business professionals, entrepreneurs, and innovative thinkers from a variety of industries. Each featured speaker will share details about their education, job, and career journey. During our speaker's presentation, please make sure that your mics are muted. And if you have any questions, go ahead and write them down or put them in our chat box, and we will address those during the Q&A portion of the event. Today, I am super excited to welcome Arlene Espinoza-Armijo, co-owner of Nuevo. Arlene, thank you so much for being here. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and then the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jordana, for having me. And thank you, all of you, for joining today. I really appreciate it. So like it was mentioned, my name is Arlene Espinoza-Armijo, and I am the co-owner of Nuevo. We can go to the next slide. So I wanted you guys to know a little bit about me. I grew up in a little town called Belen, which is just located 33 miles outside of Albuquerque. I graduated from Belen High School. Go Eagles. Although all my family now goes to Los Lunas, which was our rival high school, so I'm conflicted. I attended CNM immediately after high school, where I actually didn't go the normal trajectory. I did a trade certification first. My parents were pretty adamant with me about not rushing into anything that I didn't know. And when you graduate high school, sometimes you just don't know exactly what it is that you want to do right away. So I decided to go into phlebotomy. And phlebotomy, if you've ever had to go to the doctor and get your blood drawn, those women and men are called phlebotomists. So they draw your blood and they collect all kinds of samples. It's a fun job, I guess. Not everybody likes you. I was called a vampire quite a bit, but it was really fun, and it got me through all of my undergraduate degree at the University of New Mexico, and I learned so much while being able to navigate the hospital. So at UNM, I received my diploma in women's studies and psychology, and just completed my degree there, and have taken some classes since then. I'm not sure about a master's degree, but there really hasn't been time because I've been working. So I am married to a teacher. My husband is an educator, just like your teacher, Miss Townsend. I am a dog mom to Lily and Winston. They're two little weenie dogs. I am also the director of development at the UNM Comprehensive Cancer Center. So when I am not working my business, I am raising millions of dollars for the UNM Comprehensive Cancer Center to ensure that we can get rid of cancer, which is very important. I am a marathon runner, so I like to run really far. I'm kind of crazy. And I am also the co-owner of Nuevo with my business partner, David Stroud. So that's a picture of David and I at this last year's Mayor's Ball. You can go to the next slide. So I realized when I put this slideshow together that I missed one important slide, and that is how David and I actually met each other. So David, who is pictured in this slide with me, is my business partner. He and I have been friends for well over a decade now, and actually our paths crossed probably about 10 years ago when I was working at Special Olympics New Mexico as their director of development. Now, a director of development, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's okay. It's somebody who fundraises for an organization that's typically a nonprofit. So an organization that is raising money for causes that are important within your community. So a cancer center, Special Olympics, I don't know, cancer is the only thing I could think of right now because that's what I do every day. But so I met him, and he was an event planner. And we worked together on a bunch of events to raise money for the organizations that I was working for and the boards that I was sitting on. And after our second event, where we had raised so much money and we had so much fun doing it, I called him up and was like, I need to have lunch with you, and can we do it this week? So we met for lunch, and I said, I want to be your friend, and I want to do more of what we just did with you every single day. How can we make this happen? And from there was the beginning of what is now Nuevo, our business. So it's just a really fun story about David and I. So what is Nuevo? Well, basically Nuevo at its core is a storytelling business, which you guys are probably like, huh, what's storytelling business? That doesn't make sense. Well, and how do we make money? So basically what we do is we help share the stories, the ideas, and the products of local small businesses across the state of New Mexico. We have a storefront where we sell all the products that these businesses make, and we get their brands in front of as many people as we can. We also do event planning. So we plan really fun parties and take ideas that businesses have to create experiences and events that people can come to, and we have a lot of fun. The way that our business makes money, we actually have 3 streams of revenue. So there are 3 ways that money comes into our business. The first one being we have a storefront. So there is a store that you can physically go into, like the mall, but we are not the mall. Then we have an online business where you can pop online and you can buy things from us online. And that is open 24/7 because the World Wide Web is always on. And third, we plan events. So we create experiences for people to attend and have fun at. And we really have a good time doing that. So we can go to the next slide. So what do I mean by local goods? I feel like this is something that people kind of get confused about. So I use some examples here that aren't local, but I feel like you students will understand. So imagine that you can go to a store, one store that wasn't the mall, where you can get a Nintendo Switch, a pair of really cool Nikes, and some earbuds by, I think these are Beats. You can go to one store, you could purchase all of these items and put them into one really cool gift box and mail them to your friends or your family member, or send a gift to yourself because you think you did an awesome job. That's what our store is. Our store is filled with shelves of goods, lots of goodies. You can see the picture here. Every single product that is on the shelf in our store is a local business here in New Mexico. So it came from an idea that a local person here in New Mexico had, and they went out and they created it. Whether it's a candle, pancake mix, a lip gloss, a face spray, a granola, a t-shirt that says the Duke City on it. Everything that you can think of and imagine local, we've got it in our store. So the top is just kind of an example, but the bottom is examples of things that we had. Recently, we did a collaboration with the New Mexico United team, which is very cool. I don't know if you guys know who the United soccer team is, but we did a collaboration with them, and that's the box that we have featured down at the bottom. So we can go to the next slide. So how can people shop with us online? Well, we have a website, just like I told you guys earlier. This is kind of what the website looks like. And what we try to do with the website is we try to create the same experience that you would have inside the store, but just online. So Jordana is actually going to click the link and get us over to the website of the store, just so you guys can see what it looks like. And so this is the page where you can go to, and you can click on the items, and you can either build a box or you can just buy one item. So say I want a box filled with coffee. I click that little link there, that little buy now, and I check out, and I can have a box full of coffee sent to my mom, my grandma, or anybody in my family. So we try to make it super easy for people by giving them ideas, but they can also go in and just pick products that they want and put them all in one gift box. And they can either pick it up at our store or they can have it shipped anywhere across the country. And so the last thing that I touched on that second slide was event planning. So we basically we basically can create an event anywhere and everywhere. And we do that, and we have done that. So I have some pictures here of the Mayor's Ball, which is the event that we have hosted the past 2 years. It's hosted at the rail yards here in Albuquerque. We've hosted huge tailgate parties at New Mexico United soccer games. We host a monthly yoga in front of our store, which is a lot of fun, and it's open to anyone, and they can come, and it's free. We've hosted a few other events that I have listed here. So we'll click on the link for the Kit Fox glamping experience. And so while you guys are watching this, there's lots of different things that you're going to see pictures of. So when David and I plan these events, we oversee every single detail of what's happening at these events. So you can kind of see there's a lot going on. We can't hear. So a lot of the events that we do are centered around food because people love to eat, and what better way to bring people together than around food. So this next video that we're going to show you is of our brunch club, or actually of our food week that we hosted a while back ago. And again, this event has to do with food and partnering with a local chef here in town and a local restaurant to really highlight the food and everything that they can do within the community. So that was obviously like a cowboy themed brunch. So those are just kind of the fun ways that we can bring events to life in the community. And we have a lot of fun doing that. You can go to the next slide. So a typical day today of work, what it looks like for myself and what it looks like for David. This is just kind of, these are a couple things that we do. This is not, when you own a small business, you are the janitor, you are the IT person who deals with the computers, you are the person who works the store, you are the person who handles anything that could have gone wrong during the day. You wear all the hats. So this is kind of a snapshot of like the bigger responsibilities that David and myself have on a regular basis. So for myself personally, I maintain the communication with all of our makers. So the store has over 50 local businesses that we partner with. So I talk to them on a regular basis. I talk to them to ensure that we have enough of their product on our shelves in the store to make sure that we can fulfill the orders that are coming in on our website. And then also we have a lot of corporate clients that we work with. So big businesses that order from us that we have to fulfill orders for. And so then I also have to talk to my local partners to make sure that they can fulfill those orders. I write copy, and writing copy means that you write the stories and the taglines and everything that you read on a website. I write all of that for our website and for our social media. I work in the store. I plan and create events along with David. I do the accounting. That's one thing that I do that David doesn't do. So I manage all of that, and I do so much more. Typical day for David is maintaining the website, which is really, really hard. And actually last night our website crashed, and I think he was up until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to fix it. So it's a lot of work. And sometimes we have to call and ask other people to help us because we just don't know how to fix it ourselves. He communicates with our local partners, also manages the social media. So he posts on Instagram and Facebook. plans and creates events with me, manages and all of our shipping and tracking. So everything that goes out of the store, he makes sure that it's going to get to the person it's intended to get to. And he does so much more. What David and I love most about being in business is the ability that we get to the ability that we get to be creative every single day. So we're not just at work sitting behind a computer. We're using our brains to be creative and to have fun and play, which is something I think sometimes when you're little, it's easier to play, but when you get older, it's a little bit harder to play. And so one thing I want to encourage you students as you grow up is to never forget to play, because play is so fun. And sometimes that may look different as you get older and you go into different roles, but there's always room to play and to be creative. So a few things that David and I have learned along the way. The best piece of advice that we've ever gotten was to fail fast and move on. Don't waste too much time stressing over an idea that didn't work. Focus on what we learned, retool, and try again. So any time that something just didn't land the way we wanted it to, we give ourselves a little bit of time to kind of learn from it, but also to move on from it. So that's something that you can also apply even now when you're in school. If you didn't do well on a test, that's okay. Learn from it, ask for help, figure out ways that you can do better the next time, and then approach it again. What advice would we give our younger selves? The advice that I would give my younger self is don't be afraid to bet on myself. Stay curious and remember that the path that I take doesn't have to look like anybody else's, and to stay true to myself. The advice that David would give to his younger self is dream it and then do it. Dreams are nothing without action, but be patient and persistent. And then what did we learn from our first job that still applies today? And I think that this is something that even as you're sitting in the classroom today, that you don't necessarily need to have a job to understand, but people matter. Your friends matter, your classmates matter, people in the community matter. How you treat them matters. The words that you speak to them matter. It has power. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember to show up authentic, open and willing to meet people where they're at. Sometimes I might have a bad day and I might show up to work not the best version of myself, but I know that other people are going to meet me with grace and be kind to me. Both David and I on a regular basis strive to ensure that all of our customers leave our store or our online store feeling seen and heard and celebrated. So that's a really big priority for David and I. And that's all I have today. Do you guys have any questions for me? And I think the number one thing that I want to remind you all of us to stay creative. I know I said to play, but also stay creative, because you never know when creativity can lead to a really cool business. And not only that, but a really cool business with a really good friend.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Arlene, for that presentation. We will go ahead now and move into our Q&A portion of the event. I'll start us off by asking a few questions that were entered in the registration prior to today's event, and then we'll go to Miss Townsend's class, and there's a couple of questions in the chat for you. So we'll start off with this first one. How did you figure out your passion? Were there specific classes in high school that helped guide your journey?
Okay, sorry, my dog wants to chime in on that one. So how did I figure it out? I think for me, I've always just really loved being around people. So it wasn't necessarily a specific class in high school, but it was the things that I was involved in high school. So for me, I was involved in student council. I was a student class treasurer. I was the captain of our cross country team and track team. So I was always in sports and in activities where I could work with other people and I really understand understood how important it was to work with other people, as well as to learn to understand how other people worked, especially when their day-to-day life didn't look like my life. Yeah.
You guys ship out of the country?
We do, yeah. This holiday season, we've sent a lot of boxes to a lot of people in the military living in Germany.
I actually have 3 questions. One of them is, why did you pick Wiener Schnitzels as one of your dogs instead of like all of the other breeds you have?
I just think that they're so cute. They're tiny and they're long and they fit perfectly on your lap. So that's why I picked them.
So if I wanted to go to your store, like in Mexico, where would it be? Like exactly?
So it is in, it's close to Old Town. It's across the street from Manzano Day School.
Okay, and so what made you want to make like Nuevo? Like what made you? Yeah.
It was a conversation that David and I had one day when we were talking with a local business owner of a restaurant, and he shared his entire family story with us. And when David and I walked away from that conversation, I thought it was really beautiful that he shared this really cool story with us about his whole family. But here we were in 2018 having that conversation with him, and his family business was still running. David and I decided that day that we wanted to help share the stories of local businesses like that gentleman forever. And that was how the decision was made.
Wow. One question that I have is, were there any hard times that you went through creating your business?
Yes, there were, and there have been. So we launched our business 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. So that was our first big obstacle that we had to really navigate, was how are we going to put on events and do all the things that we do when none of us can be with each other? So that was our first obstacle that we ran into. The second one that we ran into is we also tried to launch a wellness platform that also was on the website. And we had lots of people subscribe and pay to be a part of it. But as we started to develop all the things that we were going to offer on it, David and I found ourselves to just be really unhappy. And it was a lot of work. And every day I felt like, I don't really want to do this. And so David and I had to have a really hard conversation with each other and ask, is this something that we really want to do? And when we asked each other that, the answer was no. So we had to email all the people who had already signed up to be a part of that wellness platform that we had created to say, this is no longer something that makes us really happy and we don't feel like we can do a good job. So we're going to send you all your money back and we're going to close this down. But we thank you for believing in us and trusting us. And that was a really, really hard thing to do because we were afraid that maybe people would be upset with us. But thankfully, everyone really appreciated that we were honest and we were forthcoming. So we told them how we were feeling in the moment, and they were okay with it, and everyone got their money back. Thank you for your guys' great questions and for your attention.
We do have a couple more questions. Aaron in the chat asked, how do you complete 2 full-time jobs in 1 week?
Very carefully. I get that question a lot. I work all the time, basically. I don't really have a weekend. And when I'm done with my real job, like today, when I'm done with my job at 4 o'clock, I will drive straight to the store and I will work until I am done working for the day. Sometimes that's 8 or 9 o'clock. That is the reality of being a business owner, is you are the first one to clock in and you are the last one to clock out. It is long, long days, but I wouldn't do it if it didn't make me happy. So I work a lot of weekends, I work a lot of evenings, and I have a really good business partner and a family that shows up. So over the holidays, if we have a really big order, my nephews and nieces who are in the same grade as you guys will show up and they will work and I will pay them. And it's a family effort for both myself and David and our families.
Right, and I believe there was one more question from the registration, and you might have touched on it just a little bit, but what advice would you give high school students who are trying to decide what to do after they graduate?
Okay, so this was hard for me because I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do when I got out of high school. I actually thought I wanted to do an art degree, which at the time when I graduated, if you told someone that you wanted to do art, they kind of looked at you like you were a little bit crazy. But I don't think that that's the case anymore because the world is full of beautiful art, and I encourage you, if that's what you want to do it. But go to a school like CNM where you can explore and take lots of classes. Keep learning and keep figuring out what it is that you want to do and stay curious. So whatever it is, if you have a little bit of an itch to like, maybe I want to write a book one day, go take a bunch of English classes. If you're interested in science and you don't know whether you want to be a doctor or a nurse or whatever, go take some science classes and see what that's about. Or for me, I did phlebotomy and I got to work with patients and doctors every single day. If you are really into fitness, take some exercise courses at CNM. They're a lot of fun. I took a bunch of them. I did step aerobics. I did spin. I had so much fun, but really just stay curious and explore everything. Don't leave a rock unturned. Find books. And right now you have the internet. You can read about anything that you're interested in, but stay curious and keep asking questions. And the more you ask yourself the question, the clearer you will get on your answer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Are there any other last minute questions from either Ms. Townsend's class or any of our community members on the call? Would anyone else like to come off mute and ask Ms. Arlene a question?
What is the biggest order that you've got on your website?
The biggest order that I've got. Okay, well, the biggest order that we've got is on a monthly basis. We're doing about 600 boxes a month for one business.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we had to rent a big U-Haul truck and I had to drive it, and it was scary for everyone who was on the road. So that's one of the biggest orders that we've got, and we're very appreciative and lucky to get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys sell have you ever sold electronics, or do you just sell candles and coffee and stuff like that?
Well, candles and coffee and stuff. If a local business did come up with something that was electronic that we could sell, we would. Unfortunately, there's not been a local business that has approached us or that we have interacted with that has presented the opportunity for us to sell. But we will sell almost anything in the store as long as it is local and as long as the business owner of that product believes in working collaboratively in a community setting and in a space where they believe that when we work together, we are better. That is really important to us.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, what is the weirdest set of items you've seen bought together?
I think the weirdest set of items, probably like a men's shaving kit with a bag of cookies.
Yeah, I think that's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't think about shaving and eating a cookie. Guys, questions. I love it.
Fantastic job, Ms. Townsend's class. Thank you for all those great questions. All right, thank you, Arlene and students. We hope you enjoyed today's program. Before we log off, there's just a couple of announcements that I have. Following this presentation, you will be asked to complete a post-program mindset survey. We would really appreciate you participating in evaluating our program. Teachers, please make sure you share this link to the survey with your students. And lastly, please make note that these events are happening monthly, and we will be hosting these on the second Wednesday of every month. Please join us next month on January 11th as we welcome Brandon Garrett, co-owner of Electric Playhouse. Keep an eye out for those registration links in your email. Thank you again so much, Arlene, and to everyone on the call. Have a great day and happy holidays. Take care.
Bye.